Well, welcome back, my friends, all to another rousing rendition of Choir Boys Outdoors, a survival and rescue knife rendition by Cold Steel, the SRK. It is an iconic cold steel blade. Now, this one is in SK5, which is a basic carbon steel. It's one that I like a lot. It's got the rubberized handle. This is absolutely my favorite blade shape of all time. Everything about the knife I love. The sheath sucks. It sucks ass. And it sucks so bad, in fact, that I've got one more cold steel fixed blade to review, and that will be it forever on reviewing cold steel fixed blades on this channel. I love their pocket knives. I always have, always will. And I love a lot of the miscellaneous, the tomahawks and the Warhammer and all the crazy stuff. But here's the deal. And let me just address this up front and then we'll move on. The Secure X is garbage. It will dull your blade. And here's my thing. Before anybody says, well, you can fix it. Now, it's every single damn blade they send you in this shitty ass sheath. The Secure X has glass and nylon and all kind of crap in it. Or not nylon, but glass. And it dulls the knife. It's ridiculous. And then you're going to slap survival and rescue on a knife. And they claim that they give these to Navy SEALs when they graduate buds. Now, I know personally 2 Navy SEALs that had never heard that before, but they both said, in all fairness, they went to buds training in the 80s, and maybe it was after then. My point to you is this. If you're going to put a knife in an elite military group's hands, wouldn't you give them a complete package, something with a good sheath? Again, I like the knife. I love the knife. And that's all I'm going to say about the sheath. It just irritates the hell out of me. But the knife itself, I adore. I really do. Now, it's got a 10, and that looks like it overall length's 10 and 13/16. We've got a blade length of 6 1/8 with a cutting edge of about 5 3/4. The inner grip on the handle, which is the most important grip to me, is 4 1/4, plenty there. The handle width is right at 13/16. The blade stock is 3/16. The blade width is right at, we've got, looks like 1 inch and 7/16. Now, I pull all the measurements while I'm doing it. I don't know why. It just gives me a better feel for the knife. Now, the truth of the matter is this, guys. I have 4, if not 5, SRKs. I love everything about it except the sheath, and it sucks ass. But here's why I like this knife. This knife could make a hunting, a camping, a fishing knife. Can do any of that. It can also be a combat utility knife. It can be a camp knife. It's just a versatile blade, but it has a nice aggressive look to it. Now, JR, big shout out to JR, sent me this one. I can't remember what he bought. He bought something from somewhere, and they sent him this as a gift for purchasing. And I could go back and read the message, but that it might be from DLT or somewhere like that, and it's got the blue handle. But the thing is this, with this rubberized handle, I like this handle. I was using it this morning. It's a little chillier here in Florida than we're used to. It was low 30s, had a breeze, and you're going to see it in the video. And I was doing some batoning, and my hands, I've told y'all many times, my hands are just numb. They're dead. Done a lot of damage to them over the years. And so on a cold morning, it's really hard for me to get a grip. But that rubberized handle just really kind of locked it in there for me. I did feel some shock on the batoning, but again, it was in the low 30s with the wind blowing. Now, the thing about cold here in Florida is because people say, oh, you don't know what cold is? Yeah, I do. Cold's cold, son. I've been up north, been all that. I chose not, I'm not stupid. I'm not living in it. I live in the South. We don't dress for the cold. We don't. There's a lot of things we don't do that you guys know to do. So the other side is the humidity. The humidity here in Florida, in Jacksonville in particular, stays between 70 and 100%. So when you get cold, you also get the wet cold. And it just affects me differently at 53 and losing weight. So I get a little chillier than most. I did some stabbing with it because it can be a combat utility knife. It's a good stabber. It's got a good pommel. Now, somebody answer me this. I know that I know the answer, but I'm drawing a blank. I know this is an enclosed tang, but is this a full tang or does it just go to that ring and stop? I honestly can't remember. Somebody put in the comments the case. Now, just aesthetically, I love the looks. Functionally, it has a great, it's built for it. Now, it's got, that's not a true, I don't think that's a true drop point. It's probably like a modified clip or something like that. Um, the SK5, now that extension cord gave me hell, son. The SK5 is a Japanese carbon steel. The reason that I'm such a big fan of the SK5 is because it's crazy easy to sharpen in the field. I use my my Work Sharp field sharpener and can hone it right back up. I'm not sure that this is Cold Steel's edge on this thing. It looks more like JR sharpened it up. I may be wrong there, but it looks like his edge on it. The knife feels incredibly good in hand. The balance point on this thing is right. If it balances right at the SRK, the Cold Steel logo, right where the blade meets the handle. So you've got really good balance. Really, really good knife. It's got a lanyard hold there. I like the pommel of the knife because either way you orient the blade. If you orient the blade out, you've got a nice flat type pommel that your thumb can rest on for generating some real power. If I orient the blade back towards me and I stab down, the pommel is slanted slightly up, but again, there's plenty of room there and I can really drive down. It's got a slight guard. Now, the guard, I think, is just pure rubber. Yep, that's what it feels like. A small ricasso, probably 3/8 inch ricasso, a little sharpening choil there. The coating seemed to hang on very, very well. That is something that I try to pay attention to. I don't know that I'll strip the coating on this particular knife. I pretty much like plain blades. I just do. It's nothing against the blacked out blade. I just, being in the coatings business, um, if it starts to run or flake, I get irritated real quick. Plus, I like the look of a patina. But on this knife, it held in there really well. It seems to have some grip to it. I'm sitting here kind of playing with it now. No real damage to the coating from sharpening or batoning heavy. Now, right here is where I was kind of talking. This was Sunday, the 19th, and we had a little bit of a warm break, and then a cold front come through at night. The other last thing on the cold weather for Florida, the only way we get cold weather, man, is fronts. So it may blow in for a few days and then blow back out. So you might see me in a t-shirt one day and a coat and a toboggan the next. Good look at the edge there. Right here, there you see. Right here, just got out at my little stump I got behind the car and played around a little bit. While I was doing it, the thoughts never really crossed my mind, but I thought I'm going to do a little fire with this knife. So I did some batoning, did some shaving, shaved up some fat wood. And real quick, guys, if you work at a construction site or an industrial or a warehouse or anything like that, and you're one of these guys that are like, man, we just don't have lighter knot, fat lighter in our area. We don't have trees conducive to that. Listen, find you an old busted pallet or some old dunnage like I got there. They make most of those out of that white pine. They're full of pine knots and fat wood. This whole fire that I'm starting right here is made out of dunnage and pallets. Nothing that I processed up from the woods. You can see that nice golden look right there. So if you need to find some lighter knot, get you a busted pallet. And right here, I was going to show you this too. Now, I just kind of clipped certain parts of this because I didn't want to just sit here for days and show you all that. I wanted to kind of get in and get out because I've done this review many, many times. Survival and rescue, I like it because it's an all-encompassing name. It has the military aggressive type look. I would be, and I'm not to beat a dead horse, I would be reticent to carry this with me in that scenario because of the sheath. I would probably get me a true Kydex sheath or even a leather sheath if I was having to go in to rescue somebody. If I'm having to rescue you, you better start praying, son. I don't give a damn if you're atheist. If an old scab's coming to rescue you, you're in some deep shit. You may want to start praying, son. But right here, we slice up some lighter knot, some fat wood right out of that dunnage, some good sticky icky. I have never, in all the years I've owned an SRK, and it's been many, I've never tried to strike a ferro rod off the back of one. We're going to try it today. Got some good shavings. The other side is now, the other side of this knife is this. You can put whatever kind of edge you want on the SK5 because, again, easy to sharpen in the field, easy to maintain, but it's also easy to change the angle. What I'm probably going to do, I don't know what this is. If I had to guess, I'd say 25 or less. I don't know that it's down to a 20. I'm going to take it to a true 20 because the way this knife is, I want to make it a true slicer. And because I love this knife so much, I will probably have a custom sheath that I can rotate all the knives through and just keep them in cardboard. Right there, striking the old ferro rod. Now, it took me a few minutes, or not a few minutes, it took me 5 or 10 strikes, but I didn't want to bore you with all that. Fired the stuff up, again, dunnage, anything like that, man. Overall, would I carry it? Yeah, I've got 4 of them. Not in its sheath, it's shit. Listen, I love y'all. God knows I do. JR, appreciate you sending this one to me, man. The SK5 is my favorite iteration. Could you survive with this thing? Well, that depends on your skill set. You could do just about anything under the sun with it. Guys, real quick, there was a time in this country where 22 veterans a day took their own lives. Now, stats are everywhere. That's why here on this channel, we focus on the number 0. Anything over 0 is simply unacceptable. Vets, we love you. I love you. You have a place here. I back the blue. It's not popular. Don't need to say no more about it. I don't shove it down your throat. Finally, if you're an addict, then I am. Never quit quitting. Well, guys, I'm Scab. You're not. Great knife, shitty sheath. I'm gone, son. How do you feel about that sheath, Scab?